Hi, my name is Jinho King, and I'm a Senior Solutions Engineer for ArcGIS Indoor at Esri. In this demonstration, we will create an ArcGIS Indoors database and load the CAD layers to the Indoor feature classes. This video will also look at the CAD layer to feature class mapping sheet to explain the CAD layer identification process. In ArcGIS Pro, under the Indoors toolboxes, you will find two Indoors database generating tools: Create Indoor Dataset and Create Indoors Database. Create Indoor Dataset creates necessary indoor feature dataset and feature classes inside the existing Geodatabase. Use the coordinate system parameter to set the spatial reference of the output indoor dataset. Defining both horizontal and vertical coordinate system are required. I'll be using Create Indoors Database for this exercise, which adds the necessary datasets, feature classes, tables, and configurations to a Geodatabase to host ArcGIS Indoors data. The Create Indoors Database method installs the complete indoor data model schema, allowing the users to use the Import Floor Plans to Indoors Geodatabase tool to import CAD floor plans to your Indoors workspace. The output can be also used by the Import BIM to Indoor Dataset tool to load BIM floor plans to your Indoors workspace. Here, I will create all indoor data schema inside the indoors_demo.geodatabase, including the network feature dataset to create directional and closest facility services. Once the process is done, you will see the geodatabase is populated with indoors feature datasets and feature classes. Before loading the CAD to indoor database model, first, you need to review the CAD data and identify the correct layers. The config_CAD_indoors_template file stores a set of configuration options for the import floor plans to indoor geodatabase tool. The template file is included with the ArcGIS Pro installation at C drive /program files /ArcGIS /pro /resources /indoors /mapping file. If the ArcGIS Pro was custom installed, please check the correct hard drive and folder directories. First, we'll start with the source file sheet. The source file sheet stores the file path to your CAD drawings and relates each drawings to a level defined on the Level Properties sheet. If the CAD data for a single level resides in multiple drawings that overlay one another, you can define the source path for each of the drawing files and relate them to a single level. For the Source tab, I have updated the correct file path on the local machine. This is the assigned level ID for each floor. This is a unique identifier string for each level. This field value will be used on other sheets, so think about the naming conventions and delimiters that you'll want to use. The Facility Properties sheet takes metadata about the facility or facilities to be imported, such as each facility's name and height. This metadata is applied to features and attributes in the indoor dataset during the import process. The site ID is a unique identifier string for the site. If the floor CAD includes multiple site locations, you will have to specify and list all sites under this column. Because this CAD is only for the main Redlands campus, I only listed one site ID here. This field values will be used on other sheets, so think about the naming conventions and delimiters that you want to use. Provide the proper name of the building under the site_name field. Assign the proper facility ID of the building. This field is a unique identifier string for the facility. The string consists of the site ID, its delimiter, and a string unique to the facility, such as the facility's name. This should be 50 characters or less. Facility_number field is a unique identifier integer for the facility. If the drawing has 10 different facilities, then you should provide 10 other numbers for each facility. Because I only have one facility, Redlands Main Campus, L, I assigned just one for this field. Provide a short and long unique name of the facility. For this field, provide a brief description of the facility. Provide a full address of the facility and populate unit, locality, province, country, and postal codes accordingly from the whole address field. If you know when the facility was built, provide the date. Keep in mind that this field is in date format. For levels underscore total field, provide the total number of levels in the facility. For elevation underscore relative field, provide the z-value of the base of the building relative to the flat terrain surface. This value is typically 0. Elevation underscore absolute field refers to the absolute z-value of the base of the facility relative to the sea level. Since I'll be relying on relative elevation, I am omitting this field. Height underscore relative field is the z-value of the top of the facility relative to the flat terrain surface. I note that each floor height of the facility is 4.25. Therefore, I am assigning 12.75 for this column. Height underscore absolute field is the maximum height of the top of the facility relative to the sea level. Since I'll be relying on the relative height, I am omitting this field. Rotation refers to the geographic rotation of the facility, the left being west, starting with 0 and advancing clockwise up to 180. For this facility, I have assigned 90. Merge underscore levels field specifies whether to generate the facility's polygon by merging its levels polygons. If the floor footprints are all identical, or you want to capture the full extent of the building, use Y for yes. This will union the facility's level polygon to generate the facility polygon. If you don't want to use merge and use a specific floor footprint, use N for no. This uses the CAD layers listed in the CAD layer to feature class mapping sheets facilities or facility underscore line field columns to generate the facility polygon. The level properties sheet stores metadata and configuration options for the floors to be imported. The values in facility underscore ID field should match the ones you already determined and listed on the facility properties sheet. The values in level underscore ID should consist of the facility underscore ID, a delimiter, and a string unique to that level, usually the level number. The name underscore short, and description field values should reference to each floor level's information. The access underscore type field can specify the access type of the level, such as visitor, employee, or public. Because this is closed office space, I am using the string value employee. The level underscore number field is an integer representing the floor number for each floor, as might be seen on an elevator in the building. Integers in the level underscore number column do not need to be ordinal. The vertical underscore order field, however, is an ordinal integer representing the vertical order of each floor. The vertical order of the ground floor is number 0. Floors above the ground floor have positive vertical order values, while floors below the ground floor have negative values. The elevation underscore relative field here should be the z-value of each level relative to a flat terrain surface. I place value 0 for the first floor. Each of the building's floor height is at 4.25 meters. Therefore, I put 4.25 for the second floor and 8.5 for the third floor. The elevation underscore absolute value is the absolute z-value of each floor relative to sea level. Because I am relying on relative elevation values, I am omitting this field. The height underscore relative field describes the height of the top of each level relative to the bottom of that level. The building floors I'm mapping are all at 4.25 meters. Therefore, I put 4.25 for all 3 floor levels. The height underscore absolute field is the absolute height of each floor relative to sea level. You will have to determine the ground sea level and add the floor level height for the correct value. Because I am relying on relative height values, I am omitting this field. The closed underscore doors field specifies whether doors should be treated as closed when generating polygons from CAD polylines. Putting Y for yes means that the doors will be treated as closed when generating polygon features. Putting N for no means that the doors will be treated as accessible. You must specify yes or no to whether the tool should process the level in the process field. Put Y for yes to process the level. Put N for no, and the level will be skipped when you run the tool. Lastly, the CAD layer to feature class mapping worksheet maps the CAD layers in your CAD files to their corresponding features and attributes in your indoor feature classes. You need to populate the CAD layer name on either a facilities or a facility underscore lines field, which defines the extent of all the floors of a building. The A-floor-outline is my Polygon CAD layer that defines the extent of the building, so I place the name under the facilities column. You need to populate the CAD layer name on either levels or levels underscore lines field, which defines the edges and the extent of each floor of a building. The A-floor-outline is my Polygon CAD layer that also defines the extent of the floor, so I place the name under the level column. The zones and zone underscore lines field are optional, and they define the collection of spaces on the floor. Zones may define security, access, or the extent of building systems, such as HVAC or sprinkler coverage. Zone underscore ID and zone underscore name fields are for the CAD annotation layers that define unique identifier and the name strings for the zones. Sections and section underscore lines are optional, and they define the extent of a section, which can be a logical subdivision of a floor. Unlike zones, spaces typically belong to only one section, for example, the west wing or east wing. Section underscore ID and section underscore name fields are for the CAD annotation layers that define unique identifier and name strings for the sections. The units is a field to define the usable spaces within a building, such as offices, hallways, and stairwells. In my CAD, the polygon layer A-area-boundary defines all the units, so I place the layer name under the units column. If this column is not populated, the import floor plans to Indoor Geodatabase tool automatically generates a unique identifier for each unit. The unit underscore name field is for the CAD annotation layers that define common name strings for the spaces. The string values are mapped to the name and name underscore long attributes for the unit's feature class. If this column is not populated, the import floor plans to Indoor Geodatabase tool automatically generates a name for each unit. The unit underscore use underscore type field is for one or more CAD annotation layers that define usage strings for the spaces. The strings are mapped to the use underscore type attribute for the unit feature class. The A-area-type annotation CAD layer defines unit types, so I place a layer name under the unit underscore use underscore type column. The details field is for one or more CAD polylines that define interior details that show the partitioning of spaces and entry and exit locations for each space and building, such as their location of walls, doors, windows, and so on indoor map. Review and list all the CAD layers that compose the indoor areas and locations. The opening field is for one or more CAD polyline layers that define doors that should be treated as closed to create cleaner unit polygons from the layers in the unit underscore lines column. Once all the CAD layers are listed and the parameters are set, save the file and you're ready to load the CAD layers into Indoor Data Model in ArcGIS Pro. In ArcGIS Pro, start to import floor plans to Indoor's Geodatabase tool. The Geodatabase should be the one with the Indoor feature datasets and feature classes schemas. Provide the correct path to the Excel spreadsheet under the Input Excel template file. The unique ID delimiter for level underscore ID, site underscore ID, and facility under ID that I used is period. If you use hyphen or underscore characters as the delimiter for the IDs, select the proper one accordingly. The sliver threshold is used when importing unit polygons to improve the quality of the imported data. I'm leaving the default value of 2. The door underscore close buffer will search from a door to find and snap to a nearest wall. This parameter is used when the closed underscore doors column is set to Y for yes in the Excel template file. Since I used N for no for closed underscore doors column, I am leaving the default value of 0. Finally, set the correct unit of measure for the polygons. Once you run the tool, you'll notice that the feature classes and indoor feature datasets are now populated with floor site, facility, level, and unit areas based on the spreadsheet configurations. This concludes the demonstrating the creating indoor geodatabase and loading the floor plan CAD layers. Thank you for watching.